Hello, friends! Welcome back to another episode of Decorate with Me. I'm Alessandra, and today we are continuing our series featuring Season 2 Bridgerton, and we are in a great spot because we are in Aubrey Hall. Now, I skipped ahead to episode 3 because we didn't really have any balls or anything crazy in episode 2 to cover, so I just went ahead to episode 3 where the Bridgerton family invited the Sharma family out to Aubrey Hall in the country before the rest of the town showed up for their celebration later on in the week. So it's a very intimate dinner party with the two families, and it is not a soiree ball in the big sense that we see in most of the Bridgerton episodes, but I thought this is a fun opportunity to take something that we see in Bridgerton and scale it into something that we can do in our own homes. And from looking at this picture, there's a lot going on here, but the table is actually pretty simple, and we'll cover that in more details soon. But I just saw this and thought, this is actually very attainable. I took a few screenshots from angles that we could see some of the glassware, the servingware, candlesticks, and this picture in particular. Miss Edwina looks beautiful, but also you can get a sense of the chairs that they're utilizing. And then this was a great shot of the tablescape as a whole, so you could see what it looked like. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's very attainable. You can create a look like this in your own home, and I want to show you how to do it. And this week specifically, we're going to be doing it in 2 different price points. A very, very high-end, you're buying pieces to start your collection or add to your collection, and then the other end is something like maybe a disposable situation where you just want stuff for a one-night dinner party with white, gold, and royal blue, maybe some ivory, something like that. And that's where we're going to go. So we're going to take this dinner party at Aubrey Hall and translate it into a modern-day dinner party. And we're going to use this example up at the top just as a little point of reference for us. But you can see on the left side of the screen, we're putting the higher price point items to the left, and to the right, we're going to have some of the cheaper, more affordable linens. And again, there's so much in between. I just kind of want to show you, if you wanted to go all out and super fancy, you could get a nice damask brocade type linen like this. And if you wanted something a little bit more simple, or more specifically something that covers something like a folding table that you might be using, an ivory polyester tablecloth is perfectly suitable for that, and very, very affordable. Napkins, you could have hemstitch with Swiss dots, or you could have a little bit of pattern brought in with a few select damask printed napkins. And so either end, very higher end, a little bit of a lower end. The main thing is when you're using a folding table, the reason I chose the polyester tablecloth is that it will hide the hardware of the folding table, so you don't necessarily know it's a folding table. Whereas something like this, you won't have that problem because ideally you're using an existing dining room table that is more finished than perhaps a folding table might be. And again, friends, like every episode I've done so far, all of the specific products that I've curated all over the internet are all linked down below by section in the slides, so that way you know exactly what I was referencing. So if you need some ideas and inspiration for your own party, or you want the exact pieces, you can. So, linens. We talked about that, and so I made a little bit of a makeshift table from up above, so you can kind of get the layout of what this table looks like. So we have we're just going to say the printed damask tablecloth, and then we have each place settings on either end, and I'm using blue and white because that's what we see. The plates are beautiful, bright, vibrant, royal blue. I'm assuming there's some gold on there just because there's a gold in a lot, but I think what you can see here is pretty basic, nothing crazy. The only thing when we're looking at this is a very standard wide table, but some of the folding tables, if you're going that route, just keep in mind that those tend to be on the narrower side, so you might need to either put 2 of them next to each other or just adjust your scale when you're designing this table yourself. Now, as far as dinnerware goes, On the premium end, you can get things like these antique Baroque silverware sets. You could get this hibiscus, I believe it was Wedgwood hibiscus print china set, and you buy these by the set, so one place, like by the place setting. So this is all considered one place setting, so you might need 8 or 10 or 12 or however many you're entertaining for. And alternatively, kind of scaling it down a little bit, you could just buy the accent plate here, which is probably the dinner plate, I would imagine, of this set. And you can buy those specifically, so you don't need to buy the whole set if you didn't want to. But it is actually a pretty close representation to what we see in the series. And then, of course, a nice crystal stemware set. These happen to be Waterford crystal glasses. Now, you could buy them new, or I'm putting them closer to the middle of the line here, closer to going down towards the more affordable end, because these are always at estate sales and thrift stores. It's really just about getting a set for the number of guests that you want, or potentially 2 sets if you don't mind mixing and matching. So these are expensive if you buy them outright new. However, it's, and same with the plates. You can get them at estate sales. It's just, a unique plate like this might be a little bit more harder to find, but china in general, I mean, they can't give it away sometimes. Now, alternatively, if you were having a large crowd or didn't want to invest in a formal set, I found this set online, and it's a whole set. It's already royal blue, white, and gold, and it's disposable, which I know not everybody loves, but sometimes you need what you need. And it already includes silverware. It's gold, which is fine. It's totally fine. It matches. I noticed in this series they tend to mix and match silver and gold a lot, so there's that. And then again, if you had a big crowd and you didn't want to stock china or water goblets or wine glasses, disposable works just fine. You can get them in bulk fairly affordably. And then in the servingware category, I found a matching Wedgwood hibiscus print serving platter, definitely on the higher end. They also have a serving bowl with the print on it. And then, not specifically part of the pattern collection, but similar, I found this gold rim serving plate online. Now, these are definitely investment pieces and something that I only recommend you buy if you really love and you want to add to your collection. Equally, if you're still building a collection or you don't want to store all these expensive plates, I don't blame you. There are definitely some more affordable end ones that are a more standard ceramic with a white and gold trim, or you can even go the route of plastic. I found this plastic bowl with a nice gold rim. Very convenient. They come in a set. And I even found this, which is kind of a middle of the road porcelain piece that is white with a gold trim and is nicely divided for serving on the table if you have little sides or whatnot. So both ends of the spectrum are great. Personally, I like to lean towards more neutral dishes in regards to serving and barware, because then they're more universal and you could bring in the pops of color and personality with the plates and other means of decorations. So typically I like to lean more on the right side, but if you really liked this look, it's absolutely doable in your own home. So looking at the table, we have candlesticks down both sides, a total of 6 in scattered, kind of a zigzag, if you will. I did my best to place them here. So I've put them on our kind of our table layout, just so you could kind of get a sense, if you were setting the table, what to look for. And I just want to remind you again, if you're using a folding table to recreate this look, just be mindful, because those tend to be a lot more narrow than the regular standard dining table. So the distance and the gap between the plates and the silver, well, really anything, the plates, the servingware that you have the dinner on, and the candles is going to be much more compressed on top of each other, and you might need to thin it out a little bit. But there are also 2 garlands going across the table, and I like that they're going widthwise as opposed to lengthwise. Or is it length instead of width? You know what I mean. Instead of going down the middle, there's 2 of them going down the sides on the ends, essentially. And I thought that was really nice. So we're going to talk about that next. So, table accents. We can get really premium filigree candlesticks that are about 7 or 8 inches. We can get more simple candlesticks. They don't have to be formal sterling silver or anything. Just silver finish will do. And alternatively, I put a candelabra on the cheaper, more affordable end, because if you're using a folding table setup, like we talked about, it's more narrow, but you might not have somebody sitting at the end because maybe the legs on the table aren't conducive to somebody sitting at the head of the table. Well, you could put candelabra, or either one at either end or just one at one end, and that would be a nice way to decorate and add candlelight to the table without filling up the limited space in the middle of the table with candlesticks. You could just have it at the end. On the premium end, I recommend getting really nice high quality candles that are real. Some like driplet. I prefer the dripless unscented in ivory, and I think that's probably what they have here. You could use LEDs, like I recommend for the more affordable end. The reason I just put the LED flameless candles, even though they're the nicer ones with the moving flame, on the more affordable end, is because folding tables are much less stable than a traditional table. So if you are using them, just from a safety point of view, they're easy to knock into with your knees or your chair or whatever, and I would hate to see a fire break out because somebody accidentally bumped the table. It happens, but you know, it can be prevented. And then looking at the garland that we see here, I kind of went with my go-to, my favorite. You see me use this ivory cream rose. This is a premium vine, so much more attention to detail was put into it than some of the other silk vines. But it's a very nice, very luxe garland. And I'm pairing that rose garland with this carob leaf garland, which is very full and flush, and I think if you intertwine the two of them together, they would drape beautifully and create this look here. So that's where I went with the table accents. And then more just out of, if you really wanted to go that far, chairs. I found a very similar, not exact the same, but a very similar chair cover online. Now obviously this really depends on your chair's measurements and what you already have, but it's just more food for thought. And then on the more affordable end, if you're using folding chairs or something else, a nice bow might be the answer to your solutions, especially if you're using like a white lawn chair, the folding ones that you see at weddings or something. This might just be a fun way to add a pop of color in without being too much. In regards to the spandex, that's personal choice. It's not my favorite. I tend to avoid it whenever possible, but if it makes sense and you want to do it, then do it. And so that concludes our Bridgerton inspired dinner party at home. We've got a lot of great looks. I have more on Pinterest, but I hope that this inspires you guys to try something new and take what we see in Bridgerton and bring it into your own home and do something fun. There's so much room to scale with these designs, from premium high-end investment pieces to we're just having a watch party with some girlfriends over the weekend and we just want something, we don't want to deal with dishes, and everything in between, really. So do what makes sense for you, and make sure you subscribe if you enjoy this content. There's a ton of Bridgerton content coming, plus lots more fun videos like this. So stay tuned. All right, friends, I'm Alessandra. Thanks for watching. Bye.